It's not about fiction or nonfiction. It's more so about physical and metaphysical, or physical and spiritual. They kind of like, it's a word. That's that word I was really looking for. But yeah, let's get into it. So Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. This is a flippy game. Um, it seems backwards. Like if you play from 1 to 3, it's almost like Star Wars in a way. Whereas the 1 is, you know, it's the future or whatever, and then the more you get, you go to the past. That's what it seemed like. So 3, it seems back, but if you look at it from that point, it seemed like you destroyed some Reapers, and then you go to 2, and then you go to 1, and then like you're trying to destroy these relays before more Reapers come, and then 1 comes, and now you're like, the Reapers haven't come yet. You're hearing about more Reapers coming. Like you can kind of flip that in a way. It's something that I probably would do, but later. But Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 was the climax of what was happening in my physical life that led me on a spiritual path that made a climatic effect. That's why it's called Mass Effect. It had a climatic effect globally, all around the world, on a spiritual event. Like things are happening in the metaphysical that people don't understand. They connect the dots in different types of shows like Disney and this and that, here and that. But Mass Effect, the game, was like pinpointing. BioWare and EA, Electronic Arts, put that together so well. The storyline was so perfect. Out of anything, the graphics you can say here and there, but the story was perfect. Where you can be the shepherd, and the shepherd is like, his name is Shepherd, and you can be the shepherd. And there's so many people trying to be the shepherd and trying to make the best choices. And depending if you make good choices, bad choices, or you might make the perfect run, it all accommodates to the person that actually pick up the joystick and play it. You get pulled into the melting pot of, choosing who's gonna be the true shepherd, and before they continue on. That's why after 3 you got Andromeda, which was corny. Andromeda came out in 2017, and I would say out of all of the Mass Effects that might ever come out, Andromeda would be the end. Even though they say they left the Milky Way galaxy, it's more like you didn't leave the Milky Way galaxy. You tried to stasis yourself and hide yourself somewhere and come out of the box out of nowhere, and you came out of the Nexus. It said you came out of the Nexus, but what's in, if you play, and I'm talking to people who played the game, if you go around in the Milky Way galaxy, you find you have the Hades Gamma or whatever, and the Hades Nexus. I think it's Hades Nexus. So if you put it together, the Hades Nexus Gamma, that is, you kind of can play on that or whatever. So it seemed like they came out of Hades. Hades is considered hell, and in Hades you find Sheol. Sheol is considered the place of hell where people go when they die, whatever. A place of torment. It's not a good place at all. Hades is never a good place. So they came into the Nexus, and the Nexus is dead. Like Andromeda was really giving you a whole synopsis of what really happened spiritually if you were discreet, or one of the discreet people, or one of the people that be knowing stuff on a mental level. Like you are visionary is what I would say. You might not necessarily be an Illuminati or Mason or no crap like that. You just have a visionary ability. And with that visionary ability, like myself, with no attachments to any of this crap out here, you can see what's going on. And you're one of the people that could be considered chosen to kind of like be the one having no attachment to anything satanic. And so, yeah, so when Andromeda is corny, you got this snotty-nosed High School Musical jock guy with his sister out there trying to be the Pathfinder, and his name is Ryder. You went from being a shepherd to being a Ryder. Like, it was more so like hardcore fans is not gonna, like, if you just coming into the play like that and you don't know what's going on, then this game is for you. Like, you just waking up like, yo, what's going on? So now you want to be the Pathfinder to find out what's going on. And it's more so like, what is you trying to find a path to? It's dead. It's a dead galaxy. What is you trying to find a path to? There's no gate in the middle of the galaxy of this thing to keep it talking. There's no talk here. So it's not talking, it's dwindling away. And you go into all of these dead planets and all of this bull crap that's burning up and messed up. And it look all fantastic, but it's like trash. And it looked like Red Dead Redemption on some dumb mess. But you can flip that game so many different ways. How dead it really is, and how people literally trapped up. While this guy is trying to find a path for the people that's remaining that was held back. They didn't understand or they didn't know what was going on, and they mad at that. They mad as I don't know what at the Pathfinder. Like, yo, you better find us a path out of here for holding us back and all this bull crap. And you know, that jockey high school musical vibe or whatever, where you want to be in charge of everything and run everything, you know. And Ashley is the same. We want to run everything. It's dead. The game is even telling you how dead it is. Like, they ain't even got time to even make the facial expressions on this thing. They don't want to put no energy to it at all. They don't want to put no effort to it at all. All of the energy and effort went to just fighting and shooting stuff up. No energy or effort went into actually the storyline, unless it was something critical to what actually happened spiritually to why the galaxy is dead. I don't buy into the play where they said they went to a whole nother galaxy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You just found out that the gate closed on this galaxy, the Milky Way, and this is how it looked now. Trying to rename things and make things, it looks different now. So what I would say is, and Mass Effect Andromeda would be the last one. No matter how many you come out with, it don't really count as the fourth one. You know what I'm saying? It would count as the last one. The corniest one that you ever gonna come up with would be that one, or should be that one, and that's the one that you're gonna consider the last one. Whenever they don't make any more that goes along the lines of Shepard or whatever. And just the game keep coming out with Shepard because things keep happening in the spiritual world that accommodates who Shepard really is. And I can, to be honest, I can tell you every in and out about the one that's gonna come out now, the fifth one, and the third one. I can tell you every in and out about the third one because I came into play on the third one, and it connected to me spiritually. Like I told you, when I first played this game, my teacher, he's my Bible teacher. His name is Morey Samak Tazawa. And he's the one that taught me Hebrew, that got me started on the alphabet, and stuff like that. He got me started to learn Hebrew. And I was staying at his house, and he was playing a game called Mass Effect, and some kind of way I start moving to it or whatever. It was like a heavy spiritual game or whatever. And he would always play games that had to do with real life, like Assassin's Creed. Always talked about the history of what actually was going on in the world and what happened in time past, because the information that you try to find today in books and libraries is either hidden, stolen, costs way too much. Like if you try to get Russian icons by Father Vladimir Ivanov, that book is gonna be like $1,000+ to get off Amazon, like $1,000+ just to get that book, because inside of that book it has the true images of the Savior and the disciples and the apostles, as you call them, but the disciples and all of them that were living at that time. They have the paintings of them, like the Savior had locks, and other different men that were during that time, during the Roman regime, when it was like just before it kicked off and they kicked us out of our land. They were showing the images, the true images were black, brown images or whatever the case. And they showed them in the book, the people repainting the pictures and stuff to make them look white and all of this, with soft, straight hair and all of this. Lying. I mean, a lie's a lie. And so that's basically what they were showing, the lies and the truth. And so now it costs a lot to even get that book. I went in the library to look it up, and they ripped some pages out of the book, and I was able to get some pictures, but not all of the pictures. So for a assignment, and I was going to college at the time, Baltimore City Community College, and I had a history, African American Studies or some crap like that, and so I had to take that class. And so I did a paper, and I was not agreeing with the professor that, we black we Africans and all this crap. I wasn't believing them, and I said, I don't agree with that. And they're like, if you can write your paper and come up with different evidence, and you gotta come up with 10 different sources from real places, not no Google and not no Wikipedia. He was going extra hard because he wasn't feeling me. So I'm like, all right, no problem. And he's looking at me like, no problem. Like would you know that I don't know? And so I went up and got all the information and did all of that and wrote the paper up, and he was like, it better be written up perfect and all this and all that. And I passed. But, he was kind of like shocked or whatever, and was like, these sources, and I'm like, no, these are real sources and real books and real information and, all of this. And so he was like, oh yeah, National Geographic, this, that. I mean, ancient National Geographic, like 19 70 something, 80, say 80 something, or whatever the case of what it was, like older ones, older National Geographics that you had magazines going to the library. They had articles on it. The lady ask it, like the lady, when I had went up to the library, all this is for a reason that I'm saying, so bear with me. I went to the library shop at Pratt downtown, and she's like, why you want that book? You know what? She's shocked and surprised that I asked for the National Geographic from a certain kind. I would think it was like Egypt or something like that. The Black Faces of Egypt or something like that. I asked for the National Geographic because in that they had bits and pieces of clues of truth about who the Hebrews was versus who the Egyptians was, and that we were not Africans. You know, we are different from Africans, and it was in there. And so they had on the front picture the Hebrews dressed like Africans carrying the body of Joseph. As you in the scriptures you can reference that they took the body of Joseph out of Egypt. Moses did. So they just looked like Egyptians, but they wasn't. Like we look like Americans, but we not. So it was hard to tell, but that's what they were showing, them coming out of Egypt and carrying the body of Joseph, how we even got there in the first place. So yeah, I pulled all of those cards, pulled all of that, and he was like shocked and all that. So the information is kind of skewed up and messed up and really hard and difficult to find when it shouldn't be. You should just be able to basically find it out. It's like America's trying to tell you this is our culture and our history, and they give you white people and a pseudo truth. It's just a fake truth or whatever. It's not truth. A bunch of facts about what they did and hid the true, absolute truth about who we really are, and just gave you facts about what they did and hid out, who we are. It is a fact that we are slaves in America, but it's not absolutely true that we were always slaves. You know what I'm saying? So it's half stuff. So the video game Mass Effect and all these other games, Assassin's Creed, give you more information, but on the heavenly sense is what I'm talking about for the fans of Mass Effect. This game is definitely a flippy game. It's something that is straightforward, but it's also flippy. And those who have the right type of heart is gonna see it clear, because it's about to get real deep. Because now Mass Effect 5, they're calling it Mass Effect 5, but I wouldn't even call it Mass Effect 5 because it ain't had nothing to do with Shepard or Lee, the original characters, and none of that. Liara, nobody. Like, got nothing to do with none of them. The main character really in all of it was Shepard and Liara. The person who you're playing, which is Shepard and Liara. But since everybody can be Shepard, the person who you're really focusing on is Liara out of all of these games. The blue lady. You know what I'm saying? That's who you're focusing on through all of the games, 1, 2, and 3. Now it's 5, and Liara's on the front scene, and she comes back to Earth, and you see some dead stuff. If you've played the game, you know how it can end. You know what I'm saying? You have the left side, the right side, the blue side, the red side, and you can either try to control the Reapers, or you can even try to destroy all the synthetics, or you have the middle option. If you've never played 1 or 2, or you haven't played through the trilogy all the way, and you just picked up 3 and played, you're not gonna get the middle option where you get to go through the gateway. See, I see it truly as it really is. Other people are gonna see it as differently because they're not gonna understand how heaven works. So they're not gonna understand heaven is really different. So all they did was play a game with you. So they put it in the game, like, oh, y'all want to play a game? So they put it in the game and play flippy games so that you have to understand that they playing the game with you. So you got to understand heaven to understand what was really going on about the Reapers and this. And I can tell you every in and out about it, what's really going on and how this work and that work. The Reapers are basically true. That's why they focus on the Reapers so much. They're called sovereigns or whatever the case. And the Most High talk about him being sovereign, and there are sovereigns in the world that are like his hands, his helpers or whatever, the hosts of heaven. And they are self-existent like him, and they do go out and do his work. They are the reapers, and angels in the scriptures are also called reapers. They said that they will come with their sickle and reap the harvest. And those who belong to the Most High will go to the Most High, and those who don't belong to the Most High will go to Hades or whatever. And, they will go to Hades Nexus. So they will go to Hades, and that's where they'll be. Hellbound or in hell already did. So what you see is the sovereigns are coming on the scene, and they are kind of like handling things, destroying everybody's virtual spiritual worlds, trying to get it prepared to manifest to the physical, which you're starting to see now with the COVID and all of this stuff happening all over the world. It's like Mass Effect all over again, all over the world. The game might have came out in 2007, and believe it or not, 2007 was when I first came into the mainstream media era. Even Tyler Perry, when he had his first movie on screen, 2007 when I first came in, that was when I promoted all of these different kinds of artists and stuff. So I first came into the mainstream media at that time. And I didn't go all the way because all of this extra stuff they talking about, put your blood in a pen and write on. I'm like, nah, I ain't. And the first thing off, why I gotta, no, you just sound extra crazy. Like, why I gotta, you're not telling me why I gotta do the stuff. You just telling me to do some strange stuff that I would not do. Like, how that sound? Put your blood in an ink pen and sign your name. Like, you out of here. You know, y'all doing too much, not explaining stuff. You know, trying to play clever, crafty games. You know, so you know you're wrong. But so I was like, nah, I back out. So that's why I didn't go into the rap industry or the music industry, because I ain't want to sign my name with blood or whatever. So I just stayed back and just kind of whatever, changed my life and went on a holy path. And it took me a while to change my thought, but that's when it started, 07. But I didn't know Mass Effect came out in 07. I was too busy doing other stuff. And then by the time 2013 came, which Mass Effect tied into Disney's Ant Farm, where you can kind of say part two. Part two is kind of like a miss because you're missing 2 years or whatever. So part two and part five can kind of link together if you can flip it like that. Whereas though the ship crashed or whatever in part two, Mass Effect 2, when it first started off, the ship crashed, and then Liara brings him with Thane, I think it was Thane or Ferros, brings him to Cerberus. And so he gets remade and recreated. So I think that's what they're trying to play on. It's like that. It's not going that way, but they're trying to prick your conscience to kind of help you understand what they're trying to say. Is they're trying to bring Shepard back again. So they chose the option where, you know, he destroyed all synthetics and he's still alive. And in the end, his fist breaks through the rubble and he's still alive with the broken armor or whatever. And I think that's the route they took, because when I first played it, I played 3, and I chose the option of destroy all synthetics, because I'm like, I don't want to control no Reapers. The people that don't even sound right. I was too vast for me to because I only had those 2 options. I didn't have the middle option, so I'm like, man, I'm going over here. I'm just going to destroy all the synthetics. Why? Because then everybody got to die anyway. So let's just end it. That's what's happening. The Reapers killing everything up. You can't stop it. I ain't have enough people to beat the Reapers anyway. I ain't even have the minimum level of fleets to even do the thing. I just was trying my best, and that's what happened when you start out with 3 with no data. You can't finish the game properly, and so that's what happened. And so from 20, I think it was 2010, 2011, went around in 2010, 2011 when I played the game, my life started going that way, because right after the move where I was getting too comfortable with Liara, that was the first option I chose. I was just being friendly, like how I naturally would be to anybody. Like if I met someone that is not a human and it was a blue person or look like Garrus or somebody like that, not look a human or like Rax or something, then I would choose the options I would choose if I met another life form or something like that. And I was doing that with Liara, and I didn't know it was gonna go that way. And it did, where you end up having sex with Liara or whatever. And so I got scared because I was afraid. I never, you take it real. I took it to all the way to heart. Like, it's not just a game at this point. Like, oh my goodness, you got to make choices and decisions. I took it to heart. So I restarted the whole game after I did that with Liara, and then chose the option to, because in the end, I tried to still be friends with her. Like, I didn't kiss her. I was like, oh, let's just be friends. Like, I tried to switch it up. And then I ended up choosing the option of synthetics. But the second time I played 3, I chose the option of control the Reapers, and I tried to be Liara's friend. But what happened in my physical life was I didn't know that it wasn't a game. It was actually something that accommodates your actual life, and it patterned your life. And I'm like, yo, I thought this was... So then it was destined for me to play it again in the future. And so here it is, 2021. I was able to come back to it and play it. I got the Legendary Edition and went from 1, 2, and 3, because I never played 1 or 2. I just saw somebody play it. So I was able to go into it myself, do it from scratch, do it how I would do it, all of that stuff, go all the way in. But after the first time I had did it, and what happened with the option that I chose where Liara and Shepard, you put yourself in there. Liara and me, the character is having sex or whatever. I had went to sleep that night and woke up with like somebody kissed me. I had a dream I got kissed by a blue person, a blue lady, and I woke up and my lips were on fire, but it was like it was a cool fire, like it was cool, but it was warm, and it was on my lips, and and that's what happened right after I did that in the game. So I'm like, oh, okay, and then not only that, after I finished the game, I ended up going with a woman that was a blue woman. She was a blue woman, and I ended up walking with her into a different world or whatever. And we were just walking down the street and talking, and she was just talking to me and asking me questions about. And she was a blue woman for real, looked like how Liara looked. You know what I'm saying? A little bit differences here and there, but she looked like how Liara looked. And there was no sign of a white woman or a black woman. She was a completely different type woman. Later on, I found out who she was and what type woman that was. But at the time where I did it, I was still at a loss of what was going on. And I just was going with it. In that world that she brought me into, I realized was one of the worlds in the second heaven, what you call the constellations. And you had chariots, as you call UFOs, flying around the sky and stuff. And they was talking to me and stuff. But it was more like they didn't talk. They shined light, and then out of the light came subtitles. Like in whatever language you understood, it came up, and it was like that's what they was trying to say to you. So it was like popped up, and you just kind of like answer the questions to what words popped up, what they was trying to say to you. It was crazy how they did it, and it's like they hover, they like you have chariots or whatever, they hover like that across the sky, but when they want to talk to you, they turn and bend like this, and then out from under the chariot is a light, and then words come out, and then they bend back like that, and then they fly like a frisbee or something. So that's how it was. All kinds of stuff was happening to me, and I was seeing after I played Mass Effect 3, and my life was going into a path of Mass Effect 3. And in the end where he ended up surviving. And then that's when from 2010 to 2013 I ended up back at my aunt's house, and then Disney's Ant Farm was kind of like continuing on what was happening, or like an addition to what was happening in Mass Effect 3. It was kind of like, I ain't gonna say Andromeda, but it was kind of like Andromeda in a way. Like these are the people left behind on a Nexus trying to find somebody that can help them escape, but the Pathfinder is like the corniest dude ever and can't help you, like a Jake Short or whoever. They trying to bring up some little kid that can't help them get nowhere because he's disrespectful, snotty nose. Even in the Nexus, like his father died, he was happy that his father died. His father hiding stuff from him, like the thing is telling him, like, oh, I can't, access these certain part of records, like your father erased it and I can't access it or whatever, so you're not going to get the information. Like, you're not getting full access to whatever your father had, like he already knew what type little boy you was, trying to wait for him to die and stuff like that. So it was crazy, yo. And, but that's how I see him in 2013. We're going to go spiritual with this one. So 2013, I had ended up watching Disney's Ant Farm, and I ended up getting sucked into it. I was having abduction dreams, out-of-body dreams, where I was being pulled up into aircrafts and chariots and stuff like that. And it wasn't strange to me because I was in the military before, and it was happening then when I was in the U.S. military. They call it the U.S. Navy, or it was the Air Force Space Edition or the Space Division, but it's part of the Navy also. So either you on the Navy side of it, of the Air Force, and you on the Air Force side of the the Air Force when it comes to the Space Division. Now it's just a full-blown Space Force. But they had a division for the Space Force when they was injecting us with all this stuff in 2004. When I went into the military, they was injecting us with all kinds of stuff. And I had an allergic reaction. They said it was an allergic reaction to it, but I had a reaction to the stuff started happening to my mind, and I couldn't, like my sleep was different. Now seeing things with different, my reactions and stuff was still the same, but it's just that my experience of life was starting to change. I was being more of a visionary about different things and stuff, and my life was going crazy. But yeah, I was in the military. Started then seeing all kinds of stuff. You be in the ship, like you be in the military, right? And you be going to sleep, and you be having all kinds of demons attacking you and stuff. It was attacking me because I wasn't with it. I didn't pledge my allegiance to the flag for real. I was like being phony about it. Like, I just need the money for real, take care of my family. I'm not really with it. So because I wasn't really with it, I didn't truly pledge my allegiance in my heart. That demons and stuff was attacking me and stuff like that, and people was in opposition to me and stuff like that because I wasn't on the same. I wasn't really in the Navy. I was just there physically, And so people was trying to help me get out. You had all kinds of lieutenants and officers that was of different countries and nationalities. Like I had the second lieutenant, and I had the master chiefs and them, like trying to help me get out of the Navy or whatever, or trying to help me get through it, because they were not American. And then I had talked to the captains. I was all kinds of talking to the captains. No, the chaplain, and on the ship I was on the Theodore Roosevelt CVN 71, and so I talked to him. I was like, look, I'd rather just be a chaplain or something. Like, I'd rather go to school, take some classes, get the Montgomery GI Bill, take some classes or whatever, get some credits, go to the academy and become a chaplain or whatever. Like, because they help you out when you want to do something else. You can go there, help you be a chaplain or something like that. That was some kind of thing they help people that wanted to be a chaplain. I said, I'd take that route. And when I said I'd take that route, that was my way of saying to the whole entire military in America that I'm going to take a holy route. I'm going to try to find the Most High. And it was like, when the chaplain heard that, they kind of like in their heart ruled with me, like, all right, we're going to go with this journey with you. Because we see that you're sincere about looking for the Most High. That's why you don't fit. Not that you're just being a snot-nosed, rebellious child. You just don't understand how people can be evil the way they are. They understood my sincerity growing up. I was young. Growing up, people was watching me. Now that I'm 36 years old, all these brand new people that don't know who I am, doing the same thing that they was doing before, but different, real dumb. Like, back then they had more wisdom. They had more ability to reason what type of person a person is. That's how you can even take over a world or control people, that you know how to reason right. You can think right. But people today don't even think right. They think in a different kind of way. So anyway, all of the information in this is good. Going around, it all revolves around Mass Effect, because I guess you hear what I'm really trying to say, about Shepard or whatever. So after the military, I got kicked out or whatever, other than honorable. But it wasn't anything except I missed ship's movement. I didn't miss ships. It's a whole story behind that. It wasn't on purpose and all of that or whatever. It's just that I wasn't feeling it, but also it wasn't that I was purposely trying to be whatever, rebellious or whatever. It was a situation that happened out of my power, and I did everything I could to, let people know and this, that, and the third, and they saw that, and I didn't really get a heavy penalty. It was like, yeah, he really tried, and it's just that he didn't have authority issues. He had disrespect issues. Like, people was disrespectful on the ship. Like, you'll get in trouble for what somebody else doing wrong. Or if somebody else don't want to clean or do something, then you get in trouble because you just with that group. Or somebody will yell at you that's in charge of you. Somebody will yell at you because their wife did something to them, or their husband did something to them. They'll come to work, start yelling at you, and and all this, making you do all this extra stuff, making you like a bad person. Then right afterwards, they want to go out to eat with you. Like, yeah, let's go to Hooters. Let's go to this place. Let's go to, what I'm saying? Let's go out to eat somewhere at Johnny Rockets or something. They want to hang out with you afterwards, dressing all nice. Like, oh, sorry about what I said. It was just work and all that. No, not the way you was calling me out. No, I wasn't feeling that. I was not feeling that. Phoniness level was so phony. Like, no, you ain't gonna yell at me, call me all types of B's and son of a eat, beep, beep, bleep, bleep. And then right at the work, when the bell ring, hey, all right, it's time for work. Y'all wanna go out to eat? No, I'm not going out to eat with you. Like, out of here. So it was just crazy. So I wasn't feeling any of that. And so I couldn't get trapped up. So they had to let me go. I wasn't feeling it. And so I was genuinely a holy-hearted man. And so anyway, skipping up, I was 19 in 2004. So skipping up, I'm 28. 2013 hits, I'm 28. Mass Effect start coming into play or whatever. And that's when I had got shot in the chest at Disney World. The spiritual Disney World. Everybody know that, so please don't be dumb. Don't be all, oh, this guy. No, okay, please stop stealthing it. I mean, it's not you're not nothing to be scared of no more. Like, how am I not scared and I'm still good, but you scared and like whatever. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is just us standing together and us recycling off the life force that we all got together, and we can stand up. You being scared is making it worse. It's making it bad. You being scared and still submitting to the other stuff. So now that it's messing up the system. You putting other stuff in the system. But if we all stand together, now we all can lift the thing up and move it. I can't do it by myself, is why I keep standing up, doing good, standing strong and hard, being all this. And then I fall apart again because everybody not standing with me. You getting scared, thinking like, is he gonna do it? No, it's like, is we gonna do it together? And you stand hard, and so we can feed off each other, keep each other lifted up. We don't gotta eat off the evil energy. We can eat off the holy energy from each other and keep each other going every day and wake up in the next day and stuff like that. So that's why. So and so that's a reason why I can I'm an HVAC technician. I know service work a little bit, and I'm a cable technician, and I can do other extra stuff, a landscaper and this and that, computers, this, Microsoft Office verified. I can do Excel, and I can do Access. I can write type up queries. I can do a whole data entry for your whatever business you got. I already did that before on some volunteer mess for a bail bonds company. Put a whole database together and put a person's files all together on, just out of nowhere, so that you can type up queries and get the query or whatever you're looking for, how much money the person owe you, how much this, how much that, printed out, made logos and all that. Like, you talking about graphic design. I even had Honeywell gave me a call at my job one time, and I was 24. You know what I'm saying? I haven't graduated yet. I didn't graduate yet, so I was still doing work study, but I was like so nice with it that I got signed on, I got put on contract, and I got paid more money. So it was like I was a real employee at the college doing CITS, Computer Information Tech Services. That's when I was nice with it, when stuff was flowing, when stuff ain't update yet. If I'd have kept with it, then yeah, I'd have still been with it, nice with it. But I was like at that time so nice with it. The graphics, they looking at my all my scores and all my tests and stuff they looking at all my information and stuff, my test papers and all the stuff, all that I did. And they like, this guy did this, and he said, nah, that he just did it. That's how fast that he did it, and how it looked like he copied this, or it's like how my professor Sadiq Nur, he made something real hard for me to do, like do it just like on the paper, like, and everybody was struggling, like, how you get it like this? And I was like, click, 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 just doing it real nice with it, and I finished real quick, the first person to finish. So all of this type stuff, CIS, JavaScript, when JavaScript first came out, JavaScript just came out. CSS just came out. HTML and XHTML and CSS, no, XHTML had just came out, and CSS had just came out. And then JavaScript, when I had finished all of my courses, had just came out. So my professor's like, you want to take JavaScript? That's the brand new thing or whatever. So I'm like, JavaScript? What's that? It's like when you can put it in a website. And I was, all right. And then he was showing me how websites wasn't even that advanced back then. It was like you was still on XHTML and CSS. So it was like I was at the beginning, and it was a Filipina that was in my class. I forget her name. She always competing with me and crap. So like always, I forgot. But I think it's Mary Joy or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, y'all, all this stuff connect. So when I was going to school and all that stuff, that's how it was. And this Disney's Ant Farm thing had happened, and I was getting pulled up and all of this stuff, and I had got shot up at Disney World. I got shot in the chest by some big giant blue light, and they just shot me down. Anne McClain was sitting there looking right at me, and I understand you probably scared to death. You don't want to die in your sleep either. You know what I'm saying? Or it looked like I died. You know what I'm saying? And she painted in all her movies and stuff that she be in, like Ted Murderland. When the movie first come on, the music you hear is the same Tron music that when you go into the little club or whatever looking for Zeus. Then you have or whatever, the Tron music. And then you have I forgot the other one was like How to Build a Better Boy, how that played out. That just played out. Whereas this white girl want the boy that she had made or whatever and designed that was for her, but she took it. Of course, they made it a white person, but it was someone that she designed that was supposed to be for him, because she had somebody that she was already in love with or had liked or whatever, and wanted what she had. And then in the end, when she got tired of it, she tried to kill it instead of let it be with the person who made it. And so while she's sitting on the sidelines watching the whole thing, like, dang, not saying anything, her the guy that she built to get destroyed or whatever. And then these other movies like Black Lightning, Descendants, they talking about it when Descendants 2 came out. Ben was kind of playing that scene or whatever between me and her, what happened when I had got shot, and everybody was like, what happened to you, where you go and stuff. Then Descendants 3 came out, kind of filled the story up or whatever, and whatever else they do kind of really go into that story, but we had left. And so now that's where you come up with Mass Effect Andromeda, where it's dead. The spiritual world is dead. There's no talk anymore. It's dark and black, and things are slowly dying and deteriorating, and you're trying to go wherever you can go to kind of add whoever is going to come with you, Disney plus whoever is going to ride with you or whatever. That's kind of like what's going on. It's kind of like a whole thing, but under different banners like Disney plus, this, that, Hulu, whatever mainstream Hollywood stuff they still got to hold on to. They're using it to try to be the pathfinder, to find us. Because if they can't get your spirit and your soul, they can't get you. They can't get your mind, they can't get you. And they can't subliminally still control things. They can't be as physical as they want to be. They so used to controlling us mentally and being mental slaves. They kind of like don't know how to be physical slave masters no more. They got too comfortable. So anyway, continuing on. So 3 ends and skips up to Disney's Antfall 2013, and then by 2014 I was in the Philippines, and I was in this place. It was like a dead zone, like it was like in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of stuff was happening out there. It was an anime war out there and everything. The anime war was serious, boy. You seen everybody out there, like stuff. You seen people you would not think that you would see, like Ichigo. You seen number 4. You seen Sasuke was out there going crazy on the anime thing, like in the spirit world, in the dream world. Like when you go to sleep, you be right with them, scrapping and stuff. Powers that you never knew you had before, going crazy on some anime mess, doing all kinds of stuff. And so it was like that. And in the anime war, I ended up losing my soul because I had ended up giving it as a sacrifice for the others that was in the anime war. All of the women mainly had went out there to the anime war because they did the spiritual work, the men did the physical work, and then you had some men did both or whatever. But the women, pretty much all of them lost their souls, and so for the sacrifice my soul so that they can get theirs remade and recreated, and so it was like that. And so it was such a real thing that it hurt, but it was like I didn't feel the pain. I just felt the pressure of losing my soul. It felt like you don't exist no more, but some kind of way you still exist. It was the scariest feeling when it had happened. And so other stuff happened that I can tell you. And then that's when Kylie Jenner pops up with the whole running out from time thing, talking about how she said it herself. Well, I used to play football. I'm a good running back and all this. And people start tackling, so I stopped. But she was really saying that she had to get out of there. And that's when I realized who she was and the connection that we both got, and how without me, she not getting out of there. And without her, I'm not getting out of there. So it's like on Earth, our lives are so separated and apart, but we are so connected and inseparable to where like without each other, we're not going to be in flight still. We're not going to be able to keep up the flight that everybody's on now, while everybody's so safe that chose the pure side or is on pure side. You wouldn't be safe if it wasn't for us too and other certain people or whatever. And so that's when you come up to Liara again. That's when I had seen Liara again, and she was like in the Philippines with me, like, no, we getting out of here. And that's when I saw she stabbed herself. I'm like, what the heck? But it was like she was the planet. And she stabbed herself. It was like this big, huge blade came out the sky, covered the whole sky, and then like came and then she stabbed herself, went straight through the water, all the way down through the deep of the water and through the whole earth and stabbed herself. And then she had basically gave herself up, killed herself, and left, and then went into my house, my soul house, and that's where she still is. You know what I'm saying? And like you just think she not a big person because you're looking at her on a video game like Nebula. You're looking at them on a video game, but they like looking like regular people, but they in a whole outer world that's They outside. Like we just inside, not understanding what's going on outside. So you got to make movies and video games to show you what's going on for real. And so, yeah, that happened. That was the scariest thing ever because I got stabbed too. Like we got stabbed together. Like it was crazy. Like she stabbed herself through me. And I already had a hole in my chest from getting shot by Optimus Prime in Disney World. Like that's crazy. And then Robert Downey Jr. trying to get some life force from me to make a suit that before whatever happened to me happened to it was getting crazy. And Samuel Jackson was there. Fury, he was in the form of Fury. It was like, yeah, they was there. They was doing our thing. And I didn't care as long as we together. And then Sato Takeru from Japan, we getting it done. At the Void, I was there too. Like Dragon Ball Super at the Void at the tournament. That was crazy. Like, it was crazy. Like, I mean, all these places doing all this fantastic stuff, but with the world, no recognition. Nobody really put me out there. I guess I can understand why, but dang. So here it is. 2017, I end up back in America. So I'm in the Philippines from 2014 to 2017. 2017, I'm back in America. That's when Andromeda comes out. Because we had left. That's when Kali had came out and was like, we got out of there. And then they come up with that. It's dead now. Everybody left. And those who were still straggling and remaining, I guess, is whatever. I ended up coming back to America. They was in Utah, the Wild Wild West, the real heavy slave lands. It was still people straggling and like not understanding what was going on outside because they cursed it and made like a bubble and did some extra spell wizard crap to where you don't know what's going on in Utah or whatever, you know, on a spiritual level, and they don't know what's going on outside. So I ended up going to Utah, and when I went to Utah, that's when Stan Lee had died there through the spiritual war in Utah. We had to close the thing off. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Lee's higher self, she had closed the thing off and she had shielded the top of it, and everybody just went for it and start fighting each other, going crazy on some anime mess again, going back and forth, straight through who's the truth. Like, is the Mormons telling the absolute truth, or am I telling the absolute truth, the rabbi? Like, who's teaching right? And basically strictly off of absolute truth, the war went on, and it was like that. And the person I saw the most was Thor. Thor was going crazy, just getting it, coming in, getting something to drink. He kept going, filling up off the life force that was at my soul house, even though he wasn't in it yet. Then he ended up getting in it. It was crazy. But Stan Lee ended up dying, and right after Stan Lee had died through that war, Cameron had died because I was still there. Cameron had ended up dying, so that's when I ended up leaving Utah, and things calmed down for a second, and that's where I'm at today. When I left Utah, it was 2019, and Cameron Boyce had just died, and so I've been here back in Baltimore since then. I visited Atlanta for the Black Lightning, the finishing parts of Black Lightning and all that stuff to collect those that was in Atlanta through Disney Soul, because Georgia is like the backwards LA, Atlanta. So before the peach became dead, the dead peach that they be showing, the great peach, before they got like that, we had to collect them from there, basically through CW's Black Lightning. And then I ended up back in Baltimore where I'm at again. Baltimore is the headquarters of the spiritual world. New York is, anybody born in New York from heaven is still in home. They still in the kingdom of heaven. They haven't been born. Those who are in Philly is the trenches. Baltimore is the headquarters. Okay, we renamed it Aspirin. You either from Aspirin or you from Aspen, because this is nerve-wracking. And so it's that. And so I ended up back in Baltimore, back in the headquarters where I'm at now. And in D.C., Baltimore and D.C. share the same airport. So D.C.'s headquarters is Satan's headquarters, which channels from D.C. to Utah and all of the surrounding places there. So D.C. is the headquarters where the White House is, and we share the same airport with D.C., Washington, D.C., and it's Baltimore, which is Aspirin. So you got Aspirin and Aspen, the headquarters of Satan and the headquarters of the Most High. So it's two sides here, and it only take a little bit, like an hour drive to even get to D.C. You even take a back road from Baltimore to get to D.C. You can take a back road and get straight to D.C. So we're so connected, and we share the same back roads and stuff like that. But yeah, it's two sides. All right, so evil side, pure side. And so I just came from D.C. trying to get a GMC, which is back with CMG, China McLean Gibson, trying to get a car to accommodate what's going on still spiritually, so that I can take my next steps, because Atlanta is my final destination. Even though I might be here right now or go different places, I'm supposed to be married to China Ann McClain in Atlanta, there being with her, having at least one son, so that we can finish out the mission that we're supposed to finish out for what the Most High want us to do here for mankind or whatever. We're trying to play our part for mankind and then go. And then the next people that's come can do their part. We just trying to play our part. But that's what's supposed to happen. It might not. But it depends on the Most High Father and people making their decisions to do what he say or not. I'm not here to rush anything or overdo anything. I'm just here to say it, and that's it. So that's where I'm at now. 2021, Mass Effect 5 is coming out. All right? Mass Effect 5 is coming out. Liara is going into the snow on Earth, on top of a Reaper, the dead Reaper that's supposedly been the dead Reaper right there where on Earth, where they had shot it down with the missile or whatever. And Shepard is running, trying to get to the gate. The gate is the gate, supposedly the gate to get to heaven. Like, that's how you get out of the Earth metaphysically, to get out of the metaphysical. You take that gate, and everybody was riding with Shepard. If you were the Shepard playing the game that can get them out, then they're going to ride with you. If not, then you're going to be tossed to the side as a rider. So you're gonna be a rider. So Shepard is gonna run into the gate, and he gotta get to the gate. It's not about really getting to the Citadel as per se. And there's a flip that everybody seemed dead on the Citadel, but you're not. It's just saying that we all done, and we riding with you. Whatever happens after this is what it's gonna be. And Hackett is always saying, hack it out, get out of here, F out of here. He just not feeling it. Hackett is running the play on both sides. He's playing the Cerberus side on the back scene, and he's playing the Alliance side. So he's playing both sides too. Elusive Man, he's trying to do his best by trying to keep the Reapers at bay and sacrifice himself. So all of these people seeming like bad people, you think this is one of those games to where it's going to be like a bad person or a bad side, but no, everybody put together because you're dealing with heavenly hosts here. So you putting your best heart and your best foot forward on this, and depending on the choices that you make is going to determine what type of person you are. So if you are a Paragon, you are a good person genuinely. It's not a flippy game on the sense of what you choose. They didn't do that, because it's too much at risk. Or if you are a renegade, then you genuinely are a renegade, And so that's how they let it be. But as far as the storyline play, it plays. And then they got too crazy. I think it got too crazy by 3, and that's when they try to end it. And then 4 came out or whatever. And now 5. 4 is whatever. It's not really, it don't really count for real. But 5 is coming out. It's not out yet, but they talking about it. Got trailers to it. It's coming out 2021, and that one sounds right, because the Shepard that did the right decision ended up surviving and ended up being able to protect Liara. And Liara is still good, and she is the one she is like what you could say, she's assigned to be Mother Earth for this generation, or for this term, for this 1,000 years. Each 1,000 years, a different spirit of truth comes to govern the whole planet Earth, and Liara is hers. There's so many of them, and they're her sisters and stuff. They're trying to help you understand how it is. But Liara's turn was for this turn, and so they said she's the shadow broker, the one who's trying to break the darkness with light and stuff, trying to bring out the truth. She's absolute truth. That's what absolute truth is. And so here it is. She's riding with you, trying to find the Shepard, because she's ready to leave, trying to find who the true Shepard is. And so the one who's the true Shepard ended up saving her life when she left on Normandy, and they got out of there. She ended up coming back to try to get Shepard, because she's trying to say Shepard is still alive. Even though I'm in the soul house, I'm still alive. And even though in the metaphysical I got shot, I'm still on life support in my metaphysical body. China she knows what's going on more than me, because she didn't get shot like me. I took the shot so that she can stay alive and still see what's going on. I can see from the help of others. I can't see on my own. I've also got a cracked head on my left side, the camera reverse. This look like the right side, but it's the left. So if this wasn't a reverse camera, this would be the left side. So I have a crack on the left side of my head. So I'm a crackhead baby. And it makes it hard to see. It makes it hard to envision. It makes it hard to keep a vision up, keep my eyes up. It makes it hard to be on the same equal level with everybody else when it comes to the work. It's like I'm like a baby, and then I can't really function on my own. And my head it's always going to stay cracked until I physically die, and then I'll get repaired in the kingdom of heaven. But until then, I'm still cracked. And my metaphysical, my chest is cracked in the middle. It's like a circle here, and in the middle of the circle, there's a light, and it shine real bright, and I got shot, and then it just flickers on and off. And with the flickering light force that I had in there, we still made it. Use that last little bit of flickering light to get out of here. This little light of mine, we're going to let it shine. We're going to get out of here. But mine was flickering. This little flickering light, we're going to get out of here. Like a trick candle. It's go out, then it come on. Then it go out and it come on. We're going to get out of here off this trick candle right here. Keep blowing out and then coming back on. We're going to get out. And that's what it was. And so now you got games like Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. Like, that was coming out. But really, that's over with. They was making those games for people who still stuck. But people who are not stuck, also they was making that game in hopes that to see who's they looking for us. So you just playing that game, they watch you and see if you you made it or not. Depending on how it play out. So they just watching to see or whatever. So you've got games like that, like Dead by Day. All these demonic evil games that's come out now that's all about war and being trapped up in some evil mess. There's no solution. You trying to play the games helping these people out that's still stuck here, and there's no solution for them. They just stuck because they're not with the agenda of changing their life around. It's just crazy. It's just too late. That's all it is. It's too late. When I physically die, there's no more gateway. Who's with me? Who's in my soul house is who's in my soul house. So when I physically die in 9 years, if I don't get married, that's it. So I think that's pretty much it. Look out for it. Mass Effect 5 coming. We're gonna see where it play, but you can flip that. You can mix Mass Effect 2 with 5, and they trying to say the same thing. Shepard died, but he's still alive. They had to basically put a lot into making them come back together, or put them back together again. And so Liara is trying to flip that and help people understand it's the same thing, because in part 2, the crash site was snow. It was a snowy, cold crash site. And you looking around the crash site for survivors, and there's no survivors and stuff. So it's the same thing. What she's trying to say, the same type of thing. Yeah, I'm done. So with that said, shalom, shalom. Hopefully this was informative and a good update for y'all. This is exactly what you need to hear for what's the next steps of what's going on. Mass Effect 5. That's what you need to focus on. Mass Effect 5. That is the literal 100% what's going to happen, unless they try to play a game with them and flip stuff. That's it. All right, so with that said, shalom, shalom.